Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Laurel and today we're going to make a really pretty springtime necklace. And you're going to need UV resin, some mica powder. I chose this pale green. You can use any color you like, but for springtime I would say use like pale pink, pale blue, pale green. Pale yellow would be really pretty. So choose colors like that. Some sort of flower. I'm using white. You can use pink. I've seen these in all shades. So just use a corresponding color with your mica powder so it doesn't clash. So that's why I'm using white. You'll need a mold. And this is a teardrop shaped mold, and I'm going to use the middle-sized one. You'll need a mixing bowl, mixing utensil, tweezers. This is a bail. I don't know if you can see it. It's like the eyelet screws I use, except this one has like a little base and then a straight little shaft on there, and then you just put it into your piece that you're working on. You'll need a jump ring. I chose a white leather cord to go with this because of the flowers. You can use a chain. You can use whatever color chain you'd like, silver, gold, rose gold would be really pretty, especially for springtime. You'll need pliers, because you're going to be using the jump ring. And to drill the tiny little hole, you'll need a very tiny little drill bit and then some sort of drill or a Dremel. And let's get started. All right, so first I'm going to be using the mica powder and the UV resin, and then we can clear everything else off for the moment. Because first we're going to be working on that teardrop shape. So make sure you pour enough of the UV resin into your mixing bowl for the size you're working with. Probably need a little bit more. I'm just estimating, and if you have leftover, you can always use it for another project. Just make sure you just find like whatever mold you'd like to use and then use it right away. You cannot save the resin, obviously. I'm going to get some of the bubbles out. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit to start because I don't want it too dark of a green. And also have some baby wipes on hand because they're always useful for cleanup. And then just mix it up. Now, if you don't have like a pastel color, you can always add white mica powder to whatever color you have. So if you have like a darker blue mica powder, you can always add white to it and lighten it up. Now, making sure that it's mixed thoroughly. And I do see bubbles again. So I'm going to use my lighter and get those bubbles out while I can. Actually, I believe I'm going to use my heat gun because it seems to get them out pretty good when they're in the mixing bowl, especially when you're using these types of molds. You want to make sure all the bubbles are out. Okay. And then next, all you're going to do is pour it into that little tiny hole there, and just do it carefully, little by little. Okay. I kind of topped it off a little bit. Now, you can always file it down once you take it out of the mold. So now we're going to cure this 5 minutes on the top, and then we're going to turn it over and then cure the underside for 5 minutes. And then we'll be right back. All right, now it's ready to come out of the mold. There it is, as you can see. And I did have leftover green, so I used it for this mold, which is like little controllers, gaming controllers. And I'm going to use that for another project, so we'll set that aside. Now, I don't like that little like nibby part up there, so I'm going to file that down, and when I'm done filing it, I will come back and show it to you. Okay, so I filed it down to where I wanted it, so it's basically like a teardrop or an egg shape. And to avoid such a big piece of excess resin, you could do a little less, and then when you take it out of the mold, if you need to top it off then a little bit, you can. So now I'm going to place the little bail in there, and I'm going to use, it's a glass tile and some sticky tack. And I'm just going to place that on top, make sure it's straight. And I'm going to need my small drill bit, and then I'm just going to drill down the center. I'm trying to be really careful doing this. Okay, and then I'm going to shut that off, and let me see. Okay, I'm going to need this and just a little touch of resin, because I'm going to need that for the flowers also. Alright, so once it's drilled, you can just wipe some of the dust away. And then use your tweezers to hold it, and just put a little bit of resin on the bottom piece, and then place it into, into the hole. I keep pulling it back out, the tweezers. Okay, and then cure that for 30 seconds. All right, now that that's cured, we can start working on the flowers. So I'm just going to turn this a little bit sideways. And let me get the flowers. And you can start with whichever size you'd like. I'm going to do a variety of different sizes. And now there's the micro beads in here, and there's also those little diamonds. I think I'm going to use the micro beads for this. And what I'm going to do is just do a little dab of clear UV resin, and then I'm going to take the flower and place it on there. And I can do a couple on this side, and then I'll have to cure it. I'll put another one right there. And then I'll have to cure it for about 30 seconds. Let's see. This flower looks a little better. And just set this aside, and then just cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, now that that's cured, you can just move this around as you go. So I'm just going to go this way now. Add maybe a drop here. You don't have to put them like in a perfect line or anything. Just place them wherever you would like them to be. Here's a little teeny one, a little tiny one on there. And then again, just place this over, oops, cure for 30 seconds. All right, now that that one's done, again, I'm just going to repeat the process. I'm just going to move it in various angles, just trying to get some of these flowers on there. And I'm just trying to find some of the nicer looking flowers. There's a couple that have little pieces on there, like little added plastic, so I'm just pulling those off. I'll place the large one there, and a smaller one right there. And then again, I'm going to cure for 30 seconds. Now I'm going to continue this process until I'm done. I'm also going to do the bottom of the pendant. So when I'm done, I'll come back and show you the next step. All right, now that it's done, you can see how pretty it looks. Kind of reminds me of like one of those Fabergé eggs. So I think this would make a great Easter present for someone. Okay, so the next thing is, this set does come with the micro beads. So there's 3 different size micro beads, as there are 3 different size flowers. So we're just going to find the corresponding micro bead and put it in the center of these flowers. I'm just putting a dab of the UV resin in. Now there's these really super tiny ones, and then there's medium sized ones. We're just gonna do the same process. Just do it one by one or two, you know, at a time, and then just keep turning it after you cure the two. So I'm just going to do 30 seconds just to cure like that, and then we're going to move on to a couple more. Alright, so now we're going to turn it. We'll do one of the large ones so you can see. Just a dab of the UV resin in the center. I'll put links to all the supplies in my description box so you know where to get these. And then I'll just drop the bead in the center. And then cure it. Now this does take a long time, and it's a very tedious process because you have to keep going back and forth and turning it and everything. So be patient, and then just make sure that you get each one of the flowers on there and each one of the micro beads in each flower. That being said, I'm going to do the rest of this off the camera, and then when I'm done, I'll show you what I did. Once you're done putting all the micro beads in, just make sure you do a quick look and make sure everything is in there. Make sure all your micro beads are in there. Okay, so now we're going to have to do a top coat. And the reason for the top coat is to ensure that all of these little components stay on your teardrop shape. So I'm going to use, well, first of all, you can use clear UV resin. That is perfectly fine and it will work. I'm going to be using, you know, my all-time favorite because you can brush it on, and it's this One Door top coat, and it's a no wipe nail polish, and it's, you know, for UV lamps. It's the gel, and I'm doing the same. I'm just going to place it onto that sticky tack and then get some on there, and I'm going to go over everything. Now the bigger ones are up a little higher, so you've got to make sure you kind of get underneath a little bit, and that way you get more resin, in this case it's the gel, underneath it to hold it secure. And you can go right around everything. And on top you can just go right over it, and then once you have a section done, cure it for about 3 minutes. Now I'm not sure if you can see this, but before I put that layer on, you can see underneath the flowers, and the flowers could potentially knocked off. But once you do that top coat on them, it seals them in, and you can see, like with the larger flower, there is resin all the way to the edges, so there is no real way that you can knock that off. And with the top coat, it also makes it all one piece, which is another reason that you would use the top coat. And so now I'm just going to do another section. Same thing. I'm just going to go over everything, make sure it's covered, and then get underneath the petals too, especially for the large ones, because they kind of like stick out. Little ones don't, but you still want to catch all the way around each petal, make sure everything is sealed in. And then cure for 3 to 5 minutes. I did actually 5 minutes the first time. So 3 to 5 minutes, and if it feels tacky, just continue with the curing. Just do like another 90 seconds and check it. All right, now that it's finished and you can see that everything is secured, we're just simply going to take the jump ring, open it up, place it on the little bail, place your cord or your chain on there, close it up, oops, make sure the two ends meet when you close it up, and there you have a really pretty necklace for springtime or for Easter. I think it would look very pretty if I did it in pink with the white flowers, because that would be, it would look like a little pink Easter egg. So I hope you liked my video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and press that bell for notifications of my upcoming videos. Also, in the description box below, you'll find links to all my supplies, and you'll also find links to my jewelry, my artwork, and my photography. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.